kind of shared with us the fact that you were well along with another position you were interested in, but something you said intrigued you. What did Hugh tell you that intrigued you about this job?
You know, he has some really good ideas about team, organization, structure, collaborating, and working with Monty. You know, Monty and I spoke, and you know, I just thought that we'd be a great team together, the three of us. And I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of what we're going to build here in New Orleans. I've always been in love with the city. My family's been here many times, and it's just an excitement, and just a chance to work with those two guys is something that I didn't want to pass up.
It's not every day that you have an introductory news conference 24 hours after having a major one already. What a first day on the job.
Oh, it's exciting. And, you know, from a personal standpoint, this is something I've been waiting for. I've been waiting to, you know, become a general manager and working with guys that are good people and, you know, they have the same values and beliefs that I have. And, you know, that's something that I couldn't pass up. I'm just excited to be here.
Dell, was there any chance that Chris will be traded this year?
You know, that's a question where, like, there's always a chance. You know, do we anticipate it? No. It is a chance. I mean, you can never say there's not a chance. I just don't think that's fair to anyone, you know. And if you look back in the history of the NBA, some of the greats have been traded. And so I think you never say never, because then it puts you in a situation where, you know, you're eating your words later.
At some point, though, in this whole process, you need some kind of commitment from him, don't you think? Either.
I think he gave it.
He gave you a commitment.
You read the quotes, and so.
Well, we talked to him today, and you know, he loves the city, and he said all the right things. But I guess until you can get him to agree to an extension, there's always going to be that doubt, right?
I don't have a doubt right now. I mean, nothing. I don't have a doubt.
So you intend to go forward and build your organization around Chris Paul, a la the organization you just came from, Tim Duncan, the centerpiece there. That is the game plan.
Well, I think now in the NBA, you really just don't build on one person. I think you build a team. And, you know, you look at the top teams in the NBA right now, they have parts and they have key pieces. And I think Chris, of course, will be one of those key pieces.
With that in mind, though, when you build a team around a guy like that, you got to have spot-up shooters, people who play off the things he does well, and that not only affects him, but it affects your whole lineup.
Correct. That's correct. That's absolutely correct. I mean, you know, I want to make sure I'm clear that, you know, we really love having Chris here. I just want to make sure I'm clear about that. But we also have to put some pieces with him, and so we can build a team that can compete for championships.
How tough, and I know I asked you this yesterday and you really didn't have a chance to expound on it, but how tough is that to do, knowing where you are with a number and up against the luxury tax, at least for this year?
I think he's got to be creative. I think you can't just sit back and say, yeah, it's tough because you're up against the tax. And I think this team has shown a history of going and spending beyond the tax. And so, you know, I'm optimistic. You know, we're ready to compete. We're going to have a plan, and we're going to go out there and we're going to do the best we possibly can do.
So, just to be sure, is there a chance that you would be over that number this year if it were the right player?
There's always a chance.
You know, that's what. But if you're going to get that kind of player, that's what you need to do. You need to spend that kind of money.
There's always a chance. I mean, you know, there haven't been any restrictions put on us.
They mentioned, it was mentioned that you were looking at someone else before Hugh Weber came and impressed you with his presentation. Andy, with that other, well, I know you have an idea.
Hey, you know, there's no use to getting into that right now. I'm here. I'm happy to be with the Hornets. I'm excited to be here at the Hornets, and so, you know.
He also mentioned the NBA playing career, and that your wife is an attorney. So now, tell me in order which was more important.
For all you married guys, say your wife first. As of course.
Your years in San Antonio, what is the biggest quality that you learned with the Spurs organization? And I know it's almost a gumbo, so to speak, with all your playing days, the Philippines, all over the place. But what in particular in San Antonio do you bring?
The values and the working together. Those were the two things that really stick out in the processes. And so, you know, Pop and RC have done a great job of establishing that in San Antonio, and there's a lot from those guys that I'm going to bring here.
You know, one of the things that has been said about them is that when guys go there to play, that they quit thinking less. They think less about minutes and points and that kind of stuff, and think more about, you know, how they fit into what's going on a team. Is that tough to do in the NBA, and do you have to win first before you can establish that kind of culture, or is that what you're going to try to do here?
I mean, it's always about winning. You know, at the end of the day, it's always about winning, and winning the right way. And we want to establish a culture here. We want to establish a culture of guys coming here, wanting to work hard, wanting to be unselfish, wanting to play for each other. And if we can establish that type of culture and we get the right pieces in here, I think we'll be very successful.
Thanks, guys.